Currently in Formula 1, a fierce battle is taking place between two crucial groups in the sport. On one side, we have Formula 1, Pirelli, and the FIA. On the other side is the drivers themselves. The disagreement centers around tire blankets, and it seems this matter will persist for some time. Find out why F1's top racers fear the risks and accidents without tire warmers. Discover the heated battle in F1's quest for a greener future. But before we do that, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button down below if you like all things F1. Alright, now let's get back to the video. If you've ever observed the Formula 1 car in the garage before it hits the track, you might have noticed 4 people crouched down, tightly covering each tire with a black blanket. These blankets, known as electronically heated tire blankets, maintain the rubber at a temperature of 100 degrees Celsius. This helps the tires perform better when the driver takes to the track, allowing them to reach optimal temperature within a single lap. However, if a driver were to venture out with cold tires, it would be more difficult for them to maintain traction, forcing them to drive slower to stay on course. The effectiveness of warming up the tires also depends greatly on the specific circuit and its climate. Drivers find it easier to warm up tires in hot countries like Bahrain and Saudi Arabia, but face a tougher challenge in cooler climates like Great Britain and Canada. Formula 1 is currently prioritizing sustainability efforts. Despite its reputation as one of the major carbon producers, the sport has taken a significant step forward by announcing an ambitious goal to achieve carbon neutrality by 2030. This demonstrates their commitment to reducing their environmental impact and working towards a more sustainable future. Formula 1 has implemented various measures to address this issue. These include introducing new engines starting in 2026 and installing solar panels at circuits to power the paddock and pit lane. However, another significant area of focus is the use of tire blankets. When you consider that each driver requires 4 wheels with individual blankets heated to 100 degrees, it results in a substantial amount of energy consumption even before a car hits the track. Recognizing the energy-intensive nature of heating 20 sets of tires, Formula 1 has expressed the belief that the sport can function without this requirement. As part of their commitment to sustainability, Formula 1 has instructed their tire supplier, Pirelli, to start preparing for the abandonment of tire warmers starting from the 2024 season onward. Ever since they received that request, Pirelli has been working hard to create new tires that don't require warming up beforehand. They recently tested these tires at Silverstone right after the British Grand Prix. Prior to the event, Mario Isola, the motorsport director at Pirelli, shared the following insights. Silverstone is one of the races where we have 2 days of testing after the race. And the idea is that after Silverstone, we will analyze the data and we will analyze the situation together with the teams, the FIA and F1. Then we will decide if we can achieve the target for 2024 or if it is necessary to postpone it. Based on the information provided thus far, it may appear that there is widespread support for this initiative aimed at mitigating the effects of climate change. However, the involvement of the drivers adds a crucial dynamic to the equation. The drivers, being influential figures in Formula 1, have consistently expressed their opposition to the proposal of eliminating tire blankets. Following the United States Grand Prix, reigning world champion Max Verstappen conducted a test in which the tires were heated to 50 degrees Celsius as an alternative approach. However, Verstappen's experience with this method was far from positive, as he openly expressed his discontent with the outcome. In his own words, "Yes, it was not enjoyable. I drove on tires that were warm to 50 degrees. I think it was, and I almost spun in the pit lane already. Of course, I also had the hardest compound, but I think there's a lot more to it. If we have the tire blankets anyway, why don't we just use them to the fullest because they're there? You either go just full blankets or zero, not middle way because we have them already. We don't need to buy new ones. I think we're going to have a lot of crashes. That I know already compared to what we have at the moment. But yeah, it's tough. Also, your tire degradation is going to be completely different because your tires are very cold. You are sliding around a lot in the first few laps. Your tire pressures are going to go through the roof. so your tires are going to degrade a lot more. At the moment, I don't really enjoy it, but a lot of drivers say the same and we have to find a solution to that. Austin is still a track where you can easily switch on the tires because of the high-speed cornering. But if you go to like a track like a street circuit or Monaco, can you imagine on like half-half conditions? I think it is going to take like half of the race before you have like temperature on your tires. Verstappen's grievances are shared by more than just himself, and it is a rarity for both Verstappen and 7 world time champion Lewis Hamilton to find common ground on an issue. However, when it comes to the topic of tire blankets, they certainly align in their viewpoints. Hamilton went as far as deeming the complete removal of tire blankets as a dangerous proposition. In his own words, "I've tested the no blankets and there is going to be an incident at some stage. So with the safety factor, I think it is the wrong decision. Also, you have to drive multiple laps to get the tires to work. The whole argument is that taking away the blankets is going to be more sustainable and more green. But in actual fact, we just use more fuel to get the temperature into the tires. But more concerning is just when you go out, the car is skating around and it's very twitchy. If someone else is on tires that are working, you could easily collide with them. So it is a pointless exercise." Echoing Verstappen's concerns, George Russell, who is a teammate of Hamilton at Mercedes, also anticipates a similar outcome. Russell predicts a significant surge in accidents if tire blankets are eliminated. He expressed his thoughts on the matter, stating, "I think if you go to a circuit such as Barcelona, which is quite an aggressive tarmac, it was 40-odd degree track temperature, fully rubbered in from the race weekend. The tires were very sketchy coming out of the pit lane, but by about turn 5 on the outlap, it was at a respectable level. But if I compare that in contrast with the start of the year, when I did one run in Jerez in 10-degree track temperature, it was extremely difficult getting out of the pits. And if I'm being totally honest, I don't think we as a sport are at a position yet to bring these tires into a racing scenario. I would be very concerned for all the mechanics in the pit lane during a pit stop. I'd be very concerned for the outlap from a race in cold conditions. There will be crashes, I have no doubt about it. And I think there's a lot of work, expense, development going into these tires. I feel like that could be put elsewhere." Lando Norris, who stood on the podium alongside Verstappen and Hamilton at Silverstone, aligns himself with their viewpoint as well. Norris concurs with their concerns regarding the removal of tire blankets, summarizing the sentiment by revealing, "No driver wants it." F1 finds itself at a crucial juncture, facing a potential conflict. On one side, the governing bodies are determined to implement the rule to eliminate tire blankets, while on the other side, they encounter opposition from all 20 drivers. The sport stands at a crossroads, faced with the decision of either sticking to their initial plan and removing the tire blankets, or prioritizing driver satisfaction by allowing their continued use. Currently, the outcome remains uncertain and it is difficult to predict which direction F1 will ultimately choose. The forthcoming crucial stage in this process is imminent, scheduled to take place before July 31st, wherein the FIA will hold a vote to determine whether they will proceed with the ban on tire blankets. According to FIA rules, a simple majority of competitors must vote in favor, which means a minimum of 5 teams is sufficient to pass the vote. However, at present, achieving this number appears to be an ambitious target. How can Formula One strike a balance between its commitment to reducing its environmental impact and addressing the concerns raised by drivers regarding the removal of tire blankets? How do you think Formula One teams will adapt their race strategies and preparations to compensate for the absence of tire blankets? Let us know in the comments below. And as always, thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.